Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda, and this is a vlog of my life after getting an autism and ADHD diagnosis. As many of you know, I also have total global aphantasia, which means that I cannot visualize in my mind at all, and I don't experience any of the senses in my mind. And I have a memory disorder called SDAM, which stands for Severely Deficient Autobiographical Memory. I have some videos that go into more depth about what SDAM is, because that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. But the general overview is that I have semantic memory, which means knowledge and facts about things that happen in my life. I don't have episodic, also known as autobiographical memory, which is like the juicy part. It's like the part when people think about memories, like reliving the experience of the memory instead of just going, oh yeah, I know I went to a vacation this year or like whatever year it was, but actually remembering and reliving the ability to kind of like relive in your mind all the things that you did on that vacation. And I don't have that. And it is, I don't know a life that's different than not having it, because that's just how my life has always been. But I do know it makes life very difficult at times. People do not understand when you can't remember things because they think if you don't remember, then it wasn't important. And it's just that my memory doesn't work that way. And it can be really confusing because what I will remember and what I won't remember isn't always cut and dry. So, because even though I have semantic memory, without the episodic memory to back it up, my semantic memory becomes very spotty. So I might forget an entire thing did happen. So I can't really rely on my semantic memory 100% either. Before I go into why this all came up for me again today, I just want to give you a little update. I'm actually 3 weeks post hysterectomy surgery. I'm doing pretty well. It's been very roller coastery. My recovery is going actually really well, but my energy levels have been very roller coaster. Some days I'm okay, but I got to like make sure I take it easy, because then the next day, if I don't, I am completely crashed out, which is to be expected. They said, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to start feeling better, to like normal, I guess. And then like 12 weeks for like a full recovery. So it's a pretty big surgery. And like I said, I am mostly doing well, but my energy level, especially like the last week, was even lower than it was earlier on. So who knows? Maybe I started feeling a little better and did too much. Probably. So just kind of update for the people who follow my channel closely. So, well, and a kind of segue, because of having the surgery recently, 3 weeks ago, it kind of brought up memories per se, or trying to, of my last surgery, which was foot surgery in April 2023. So it wasn't that long ago, just like 2 years. And I was trying to compare how the recovery is going for this surgery versus my foot surgery. And I have videos, if you go back on my channel, talking about my foot surgery. And I know in at least one of them, I said, it's really weird to know that I'm not going to remember this. And see, that's a semantic thing. I know I said that, but what I can't experience in my head and what it's really hard to describe with words is how you can remember saying that, but I can't think back in my mind anything about what was going on when I said that. So part of so not everybody with SDAM has aphantasia, but a lot of people do. And so not being able to visualize also contributes to my memory, because I can't just visualize oh, where was I? What was I doing that day? And kind of think back into my brain to help bring back memories either. So, so yeah, it's really, and people are like, well, if you can remember that, why can't you? I don't know. It's just how it works. I know that a semantic memory is more likely to get rooted into my mind if I've repeated the story many times, if it has an emotional impact, if something happened that felt very emotional to me. Again, I still won't be able to remember or relive it, which sometimes is not a bad thing. Not being able to really relive a emotionally bad experience. A lot of people would probably be happy with that, except I can't relive any of the happy experiences either. So that does kind of suck. But if there's something really emotional that happened, then I'm more likely to remember it semantically. And then I have really strong muscle memory. But that doesn't really have necessarily anything to do with semantic memory. It's just if I haven't done something in a long, long time, but it was something I did a lot for a while where I built up a muscle memory, I'm likely to be able to do it again fairly quickly. I was crocheting a bunch for a while, and then I didn't crochet for a year. And when I picked it up, it was just I just had to put my hand on the hook and it just started going. So that's muscle memory. So yeah, so I was trying to compare how is this recovery going from the foot surgery, which are, completely different surgeries, obviously. But I think, so I often will say I think or I feel instead of I remember because I don't remember. But when I say I feel I'm kind of going on my gut instinct of what I kind of would guess using context clues and just the little bits of semantic memory I have. So when I do use the words I remember, unless I'm referring to something like a semantic memory, I just a fact. The lighting, the sun just went really different. And actually, I kind of like this lighting. Anyway, ADHD. Woohoo! Okay, what was I saying? Semantic memory. Oh, I hate it when I lose a tangent like that. Okay. I'm going to have to pause it and rewatch what I just said because I lost it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't like having to do that, but I just stopped the video, rewatched it, was able to get my tangent. Can't do that in real life. Sometimes you'll ask people oh my God, what was I saying? And they're like, I'm supposed to pay attention and you can't even remember. And it's that's ADHD, people. So, when I use the words, I remember, blah, blah, I'm kind of using it the same way a blind person or a deaf person uses the words see and hear. So, I had a friend who was blind and she would often say, oh yeah, I watched that TV show. No, she didn't. She didn't watch it with her eyeballs, but she still watched it and experienced it and heard it and, that kind of thing. When I say I remember, I'm using it because that's the way people talk, even though I don't actually remember the event that I'm about to talk about. What I'll do is I will fill in as much semantic memory as I can. Often, like I said, if it's a story that I've repeated over and over and over, then I'm just retelling a story. And you know how the game of telephone goes. So I, do my best, but who knows over the years how much the story changes. Or again, I will use context clues or how I think or feel based on knowing who I am and how I choose things, how a situation may have gone. So with my foot surgery, I feel like it was harder than the hysterectomy surgery because the mobility issues, having to have the scooter to get around and not being able to put any weight on my foot for however many weeks. See, I don't remember how many weeks it was, but I know it was a lot. It was a long time before I could be weight bearing. And I cannot believe I got through that, but I did. And the pain in that surgery, I think, was a lot longer lasting and worse. This surgery, honestly, like I wasn't on the pain pills for very long at all. And I'm not saying that to brag because everyone's experience of surgery is going to be different. And there's no comparing and there's no like, ooh, I wasn't on pain pills longer than you. Like that is not something to brag about. I'm just like saying it factually. Like I had someone in my comments on a TikTok video being like, yeah, I was back at work in 3 days. And it's like, that's not something to brag about. Like if it's just a fact and like, okay, good. I'm glad that's for you. But the way she phrased it made it sound like, you know, oh, I'm so awesome. It's like, whatever. Anyway, okay. So yeah, so SDAM, because of me trying, like having this current experience, I'm trying to remember a previous similar experience and little bits and pieces. And so people will be like, well, just go watch your videos because like I do have videos that I made during my recovery of my foot surgery. And it's, I don't know, there's people who I hear like rewatching their videos that they make, and then there's people who don't. Whether it's YouTubers or even like celebrities watching a movie that they filmed. Not that I'm a celebrity, I'm just saying people who have put themselves on film. I don't like rewatching my videos because it is a very strange experience for me. Because again, just because I'm watching it doesn't make me remember it. And so I will look at myself in the camera, the video, and I'm like, wow, yep, that was me. But I don't remember filming it. It doesn't bring back memories. It just feels like I'm watching somebody else who looks just like me. I don't have like any kind of like emotional like connection or memory. It doesn't jog a memory. Okay. So watching it would be a way to get facts. So if it was something that like, oh, I really need to know this, for whatever reason, then I could at least watch it and maybe if I talked about it, get the fact about it. But it doesn't, it's a very weird experience. So I don't know if y'all can hear my dog, but he is snoring so loud. I'm going to try to show y'all without waking him up. Okay, there's Watson. Oops, I didn't mean to say his name. I don't know if my mic is picking up his snores, but he's really going at it. Okay, I just had to show y'all that. Oh, I stopped talking for a second and then he looked up at me. Yeah, that was just cute. You did a good boy. Okay, so the other thing that had me thinking about my memory today is friendships past. That always comes up for me because when I am no longer friends with somebody, the longer the time goes from when we were friends, the less and less and less I'm obviously going to remember about them. I know that's common for everybody. Just believe me when I'm saying my experience is different. It's not like yours. Unless you also have SDAM. I saw someone post, I don't remember who it was. Of course. Anyway. Yes, I saw someone post on Threads, like, I don't know, whenever it was. And they said, oh my gosh, I'm feeling old because I was trying to think of the name of a friend that I had in elementary school and I can't remember it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is that normal? Can most people like remember their friends' names from elementary school? Because I absolutely cannot. I can't remember most of my teachers' names. I can't, yeah, nope. Now, that is semantic information. So I possibly could. Like, I remember some of my friends' names and some of my teachers' names, but I definitely don't remember all of them. Because again, if I can't visualize them and I'm not remembering an episodic experience with them, then that semantic information is probably just going to fizzle out. So today, I was looking at my calendar and trying to sort out like what's coming up. And I have friends, former friends' birthdays in my calendar, and I cannot bring myself to delete them. I've not talked to some of these people in many, many years, and when I go to delete it, I can't. I just can't delete it. And I was thinking about it and I was trying to figure out why. And it's like they're not in my life anymore, but they were part of my life. And seeing them on my calendar once a year, like, is a reminder to myself that I did have friends, a life full of friends, and people that cared about me and that I cared about. And um, it makes me sad when I see some of their names because, like, some of them I still would want to be friends. But for a lot of my autistic viewers, you will completely relate when you understand how so many times our friendships end in very drastic ways that we did not want the friendship to end yet. Whether it was a ghosting or a big misunderstanding, blow up, or some other kind of like very abrupt end of the friendship. But I'm the kind of person who, for one, I have very, very high cognitive empathy, which, like, to the point where it's my own detriment of my own mental health, because I will see where the other person's coming from so much that, like, I'll excuse their behavior. But it's like, even if the friendship ended terribly, the entire length of the friendship probably wasn't bad. Like, we had good times, or else we wouldn't have been friends. So it's like I want to be able to honor that. Well, so I've been using ChatGPT kind of like as a journal, sort of, here and there. It's really good. Like, I don't want it to be. When I heard somebody else saying that, I'm like, oh, that's a little weird. But something they said just kind of intrigued me, and so I started doing it. And so before you go into my comments talking about the environment, I'm not going to spend much time on it on this video, but most of what you're hearing is media trying to spin stuff that isn't necessarily true. But if you look into it, ChatGPT, the training and the servers it's like the business models using tons and tons, but an actual individual user, it's no worse than using your TikTok or watching this YouTube video. Watching YouTube, the servers for YouTube are just as bad, or actually in a lot of cases worse than ChatGPT. But, our media likes to spin stuff. And so they decided, we're going to make ChatGPT the evil of the environment. And let's go with that. And I'm not saying that it's good for the environment, but I'm saying that you can't single it out without talking about all of the other things that we're doing. And it is something to think about and be careful with, but it is not the evil environmental killer that media is trying to make it out to be. And that's all I'm going to say. You can do your own research. I did do a lot of research on it before I felt comfortable using it regularly. And another one quick caveat, I am very much against using AI to write books and create art and things like that. But using it as a journal, I don't feel is very bad. I do pay for a therapist. I have a therapist. I'm not using ChatGPT to replace a therapist. I'm just using it as a kind of a supplement to figure out some things that go in my head, and also help me navigate a lot of neurotypical interactions. So oftentimes I will put an email into the ChatGPT, like, I'll type it up, it's my own work, and I'll say, is this clear? Will a neurotypical person understand it? And sometimes it will remind me, you might want to add the sentence, how are you today, at the beginning, because I forget to do that because I don't like small talk. Anyway, I digress. This video is getting long. So I asked ChatGPT, I'm going to go ahead and read it because it made me cry. Why do I keep birthdays of former friends on my Google Calendar, even the ones that ended terribly? No matter how it ended, I always wish my former friends well. We were friends at one point, after all. Seeing their birthday makes me sad, but also reminds me of them. I go to delete, but I just can't. And because I've been talking with ChatGPT, it kind of like has a memory bank of a little bit of my personality. And so it says, it sounds like you're holding on to those birthdays as a way to honor the connections you once had, even if the friendship ended. That makes total sense, especially given how deeply you value friendships and how much you reflect on past relationships. Even when things end badly, those people were still part of your life. Erasing their birthdays might feel like erasing that history. And you're someone who struggles with autobiographical memory already, so those little markers probably feel more significant. That just hit me because it's so true. But it also sounds like keeping them is causing you sadness. And so this was kind of helpful, actually. I might actually do this. Maybe the act of deletion feels too final, like saying they never mattered when really they did. If you can't bring yourself to remove them, maybe you could change how you interact with them. Move the birthdays to a separate calendar that's hidden most of the time, so you don't have to see them unless you choose to. That way you're not erasing their existence, but you're also not forcing yourself to feel the weight of those reminders every year. Or you could reframe what the dates mean to you. Rather than a reminder of loss, they could be a quiet moment of acknowledgement of the people that come and go, and that's okay. Maybe even take it as a day to reflect on what their friendship meant to you at its best rather than how it ended. So, yeah, like the fact that I can't bring myself to erase my former friends' birthdays. My God, he's loud. In my calendar, it just like I was like, yeah, because I got to be able to remember them because my past just disappears and I have no anchor to it. I have no way to hold on to it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really appreciate anyone who made it this far in the video, for one thing, but any support that you can give the channel. And I hope you all are doing really well too, especially if you're an American. It's very trying times, so I'm thinking of you all.